Why are you doing a video on Tuesday?
Because the Black Ops 3 DLC came out today. Duh.
But but it's Tuesday.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to post it on Thursday because then I'd be like 3 days late. So, I mean, come on. Think
Uh,
about that.
okay.
Yeah, get out of here. Got a video to record.
All right.
Anyway, guys, today we're going to be doing a review of the 4 new multiplayer maps that came out in today's Awakening DLC for Black Ops 3. Anyway, let's go. Our first map is Rise, and we're going to start with Domination. Now, in the beginning, there's probably going to be a side advantage for side A. You just get to be faster. But as the maps have been out longer, and once people get used to them, people are going to have strategies for starting on C. So, at the end, there's probably not going to be that big of a difference. But also keep in mind, it's going to be way easier for A to flank over the side C using the water route. Because A can get in the water almost immediately, while C has to run through a whole building just to get to the water. So I'm pretty sure that A is just going to shred side C in the beginning. For Search and Destroy on Rise, A is the bomb site that's gonna get pushed in the beginning a lot. It's way faster getting to A than to B from the attacking side, but it's also easier to defend. Keep that in mind. You can sit in the water with your sniper with your head just above the water and see A perfectly. So, if you're pushing, be careful, check the water. If you're defending, stay hidden. Come on, man. Don't get shot. Last and not least, I'm going to show you guys Hardpoint. I want you guys to just see where the hardpoints are, see where the rotations are. If you guys play, maybe make everything a little bit easier when you finally start playing, because you're already going to know where the rotations are. But while this is playing in the background at like double speed, I wanted to talk about some things about the map that I didn't like. There's not much. It's a pretty solid map. This part right here, the hard point that's completely in water, it was a great idea to do that. But one thing, and I'm gonna cut a clip right now that I'm gonna show you. Why can we not go outside this? Believe it or not, guys, that's pretty much my only complaint about this map. There's not much else. It's a solid map. There's some great flanks, but it's going to end up being a pretty AR heavy map. There's long lines of sight. There are places where you could get with your SMG in like some of these tight corridors right here, but overall, ARs are going to be your way to go. Next up is Gauntlet, and as usual, we're going to start with Domination. Now, there's no real side advantage on this map as for starting on side A or side C, but it's going to be really interesting seeing what people can do controlling B because of how few flank routes there are. If you want to go from, say, the jungle into B, there's only one route that you can take, or from the city into B, there's only one route you can take without going all the way back to A or C. So if a team can like control that, then it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. Our next map is Splash. Just like with Rise, we're going to start with Domination. Now, on this map, I don't really feel like there's an advantage to starting on either side. If you start at A, you get a little bit faster to get to B, but if you start at C, it's way easier to defend B if you get there in time to kill all the people that are on B that started at A. So, I mean, this is going to be a map where spawn flipping is super duper important. When the map first starts, if you're on A, you might get a little bit of advantage, but you're gonna want to be on that C side in order to hold B, unless of course you're with like a group of players that has a plan to like steal A while you're at C and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, C side is probably gonna be the stronger side. Now for Splash, Search, and Destroy. Now, in the beginning, bomb site doesn't really matter, both of them are pretty much the same distance away from the attacking team. However, as you can see here, B is kind of in the open. Meanwhile, A is in a little building, kind of secluded, a little bit easier to defend. So maybe people go more for B just for that reason. Maybe they'll go for A just for that reason. We'll find out as people develop more strategies and stuff for this particular map. And of course, with Splash rounding it out, we have Hardpoint sitting in the background, going super duper fast, while I talk about some other things that I felt about this map. Alright, now, as you may have seen, you may not have seen, I don't know if I put it in the video, but there are some weird borders in this map. Mostly on the side with the water, with the big old rafts, and the wall run. That side has some weird borders. Maybe Treyarch will patch it, maybe they won't. Maybe it'll just be something we have to get used to. Either way, doesn't really matter, not going to affect the gameplay that much. I wish the slides were slidable. Not a big complaint, nothing game breaking, nothing serious. Just wish they were slidable. You know, that would just be fun. But this map is real interesting because it almost feels like a 4-lane map. There's a lane to the side by where the water slide is that almost makes it feel 4-lane. It's not a real lane, it's just a small sliver on the outside of the building, but you know, just really interesting. But at the end of the day, a solid map. It's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be hectic on this map. Lots of flank routes, lots of stuff to do. For search and destroy on this map, there's not going to be much going on. There's no real most likely bomb site because neither one is easiest to get to, and there's really no flank routes to either, so you're going to have to defend both. There's no quick way to go from B to A if all of your team dies over at A. There's no quick way from A to B either. So your team's going to be pretty spread out this whole time. So it's going to make for some pretty interesting search and destroy matches. And last but not least, we have Hardpoint. Now, like I did before, I'm just going to let this run while I talk about a couple other things I found about the map. Now, this map, no real complaints. It's a solid designed map. The wall run right down the middle, as well as the 3 different lanes that are almost completely isolated from each other, was a great choice by Treyarch. And for those of you who like to change your specialist outfit based on what map you're going to, unless you plan on staying in one lane and one lane only, that's not going to work on this map because you have 3 totally different environments. And because of the 3 totally different environments, I feel that this map is going to be viable for all the weapons. Whether you're an AR user, you can go down the jungle lane or even you shoot across the windows in the snow. And if you're an SMG user, you can stick to the under routes in the snow because it's pretty close range down there, or you can go to the city portion and where it's one straight shot, you're not going to have much obstacle. So solid design. Everything about this map is just great from Treyarch. I mean, there's not much else you can say about it. Last but not least, we have Skyjack. It's basically hijacked. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's super duper cool how they replaced the bridge that used to be here with a wall run, and the fact that you can go inside the ship.